What's up, guys? This is Lucas, also known as NJMA Goats, and I'm here with Cam
What's up? I'm Kim, also known as Band's Baby, and I'm here with.
Giants for Life.
My name is Aaron, also known as Giants for Life. Yeah.
Giants OBJ.
My name is Cartier by Giants underscore OBJ.
And Chase, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah, Chase.
And
All right. Well, pretty much today we are going to be talking about the 53-man roster of the New York Giants, and we're going to be talking about the specifics of what happened, the roster cuts, and pretty much what we think of the roster overall. So let's get started with this first question. What do you guys think of the Giants cutting Isaiah Hodgins? This happened around 8:30-ish this morning. In my opinion, this was not a very obviously it wasn't exciting to see, and I wasn't expecting it.
either. That was
I
so
wasn't
bad.
expecting it.
That was so bad.
Yeah. What did you guys?
I think it was a bad move. I don't think we should have done it. I guess he was declining a bit, but we should have gave him one more chance.
Yeah, I agree.
Me personally, Isaiah Hodgins, he's proved stuff that some of these other receivers that we cut didn't. So, I don't like it. Isaiah Hodgins has a 22 game against the Vikings, but I don't think we should have cut him.
Yeah, I think he would be a good backup if anything was going to go wrong with any of the players. Let's say Jalen Hyatt got hurt, or if even I think they kept Isaiah McKenzie. Let's say if he got hurt, he would go in even as the fifth string receiver, pretty much. And the fact that they also cut Allen Robinson also shows something. Maybe they're trying to just really get some more cap space. I have a feeling that they're going to try and make a splash right before the season starts. But who knows? I do agree with you guys, though. It wasn't a great move.
Wasn't that? That was horrible. So horrible.
Yeah, we didn't want it, but he was really just taking our death because he wasn't starting. We were paying him a lot. So I'm not happy that we cut him, but
Yeah.
taking our death cap space.
Hold on, guys. Before you guys say anything, this is Talking Blue, also known as Matt. Matt, I just introduced you to these guys.
Hey, Lucas.
What's up, guys? Or what's up, Matt?
Not much. What about you?
Just we're talking about the Isaiah Hodgins situation right now. You want to add in your thoughts?
Yeah, it's frustrating that he's gone, but I guess it kind of had to be done because there's only so much space we have on the roster, and he didn't make it. But he played well for us, and it kind of hurts seeing him go. But hopefully, someone new steps up and makes it right. We lost nothing.
Yeah. The surprising part for me was I think he was a really big part of the Brian Daboll system. And I think that's why he was such a great part of this offense. Especially when he went in. Like the game against the Packers, he got a touchdown. The game against the Patriots, he got the touchdown that got them the win. And
I was there.
without those touchdowns, especially last year, we wouldn't have gotten those wins. But I think he was a big part of the locker room and just Brian Dable's system in Buffalo. And he came from Buffalo. So it was just a surprise, honestly. And the fact that they cut Allen Robinson, I had mentioned this before, the fact that they cut both, it's like they don't really have like a great backup receiver if one of the receivers ends up getting hurt.
Yes, I agree. That's kind of a concern. We need to make sure we have depth at receiver because those guys get injured a lot. And if we have more injuries this year, we need to have guys who are ready to go. And if what we have on the rosters and ready to go, we're in a bad situation.
Yeah.
I think you guys have the same audio on at once.
Who?
I think two people on here have the same audio on as once.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Actually. But we'll move on to the next question. Kind of adding on to the Hodgins thing, were there any other surprises you saw with the Giants cutting people?
We cut Darnay Holmes, which was kind of a surprise to me.
Yeah, I was surprised too, and I know a few Giants. I was
surprised too. It was so crazy.
I know a few Giants fans that don't like him, but he has the nickname Big Play Darnay for a reason. He made some great plays for us last year. And he was probably one of the best Giants players on the cornerback depth chart too. So, I don't know. This was kind of something, I know most of you guys weren't on the podcast a couple days ago, but we were talking about leadership at the cornerback role. And a big concern right now is who's going to be the big leader at corner. And if Deonte Banks is the leader at cornerback in his second year, that's a concern.
Yeah, I guess it could be because when you want a leader to be someone who's been around for at least a decent amount of time, and like someone like, I mean, I'm not saying Banks is disliked; he's probably liked in the locker room. You want it to be the type of guy who everyone likes and looks up to. It's got to be someone who's got the leader personality.
And I think Banks could definitely get that. I just think he needs to work his way up still. He's only in his second year. No NFL player in his second year, unless he's some like top tier quarterback, could get just like able to get a group together, whether it's a group of positional players, a defense, an offense, even the locker room. Obviously, getting the locker room together is more for the coaches, but you know what I'm saying. But any of you guys have any thoughts on any other players that got cut? Lawrence Cager is another name that got cut too. I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he caught the game-winning touchdown against the Titans a couple years ago.
Yeah, he did.
He actually did. That was very good.
Well, I mean, one game doesn't really define a player, so you can't really do anything about that, unfortunately. But I thought Lawrence Cager was going to be a good backup, like we were talking about before with Hodgins. But I'll give it back to you guys. I don't want to keep talking.
I mean, I don't really have nothing to say because like what happens happens, but I don't know.
Yeah,
Because
it's
like
hard.
these are all guys who most of these guys have been here for years. And, like, it's like sad to see them leave, but at the same time, like we're just doing this to get our team better. So.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Yeah, I mean, these guys. I mean, like Pedro almost scored a touchdown in the playoff game versus Minnesota 2 years ago. Which is not 2 years ago. He did look like a solid backup tight end. He looked like more of like a receiving threat than like a blocker of a tight end, which is what tight ends normally are. But now more tight ends are becoming in big parts of receiving games for teams, and now he's gone. I mean, I like Theo Johnson. I think he's got to be starting a tight end this year. Then you got to have Bellinger's the second string. As long as we have at least one of those two healthy, we should be okay at tight end. Then
Yeah,
the first string.
I think like what you were saying about tight ends being more part of the receiving thing. That's exactly why a couple years ago we got Waller, and then he just retired to be doing his music career or whatever. But he would have been a great role model. I feel like for most of this offense.
I think
And he was still here. But overall, I think with the tight ends, Bellinger will be pretty good. And Theo Johnson, I hope he really takes a big leap in year one. But we'll see what happens.
Yep. Yeah, I think the offense, despite losing Saquon, is in a good spot. We have, since we lost Saquon, we got Neighbors. I think Hyatt's gonna have a big year. Same thing with Wan'Dale Robinson, and honestly, our offensive line I think should be decent.
Yeah, the Giants in general, ever since their 2022 playoff run, they've gotten way too much hate, in my opinion. Everyone, even like CBS Sports, has just said like, "Oh, this team is going 4-13. Oh, this team isn't getting more than 2 wins." Like, it's just not true. Like the offense and defense that we have is really like a good team if on paper. No one really realizes it, but it is overall a pretty decent team. And even EA Sports got it wrong. We are not worse than the Panthers. I'm sorry, but we are not worse than the Panthers.
I agree.
Same over here.
Yeah, that was a terrible move. But we'll head on to the next question now, which is thoughts on the cornerback depth chart right now. I'm pretty sure at the top it's Danks, and then Lott.
Yeah.
Lott's still on the team, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Cordell Lott.
He is. Doing good.
And then who is it from there? I have to look.
Cordell Dennis.
All right, so hold on. I'll read off the Giants cornerbacks. So, cornerbacks, we have
Banks, Cloud, Phillips, Watt, who else?
Banks, Nick McLeod, Trey Hawkins, Cordero Watt, and Drew Phillips are our corners. I don't think you can expect the Giants to cut a rookie corner in Drew Phillips. And I think it made sense that they drafted him too. but I just hope one of those guys takes the leadership role, and I hope they just do the right thing this year. And I think they will. I think the leader on this team is going to be Flott, or I meant for the cornerbacks is going to be Flott because he's been on this Giants team the longest. And then the guy that's going to really like improve the most is going to be either Drew Phillips, the rookie, or Banks. I think Banks has a real shot at winning rookie of the year, defensive player of the year, and that's a really hot take. But if he plays at his full potential, he definitely can.
Yes, I agree. So I think the corner room is solid. I think could be a little bit better. Obviously, Banks as a number one corner is really good. Our depth is fine. I think we got like 3 guys who could be potential good CB2s. But I mean, like I think we need like one more guy.
Yeah, and I think that's why the Giants might trade for J.C. Horn.
That's a possibility.
It's a possibility. I did see something somewhere saying that the Giants might try and trade Azeez Ojulari and try and maybe get a corner for that, which would be interesting.
Yeah, I saw that too. So last night the Bucks cut corner Keenan Isaac. He's a first-year guy. In the preseason, he had a 91.2 PFF coverage grade and recorded an interception. And I think he'd be a very good guy to bring in. And I think he could provide a lot of depth and a good second corner. Could be our starting second corner alongside Deonte Banks. I think the Giants should go after him.
Yeah. I definitely agree. I think, like, especially, how long has he been in the league?
This is his first year, I'm pretty sure.
So this is his rookie year?
Yeah.
I think, like, he could definitely help out Drew Phillips, and he could definitely just help out this team in general. The defense. What do you guys think?
I think so too, but I mean, it's like hard to like think about it because he's a rookie. He showed up, did his thing in preseason, but like then when you get to the regular season, it's all starters. People have been in the league for years now, so it's going to be even harder than preseason. So.
Yeah,
I agree. It's a challenge still, but I think this could be beneficial for him, like him getting an actual roster spot on a team. And I think this is also good for us too. I mean, we could go out and trade for J.C. Horn or bring Xavier Howard, but I think this is like a cheaper option. And
especially with the situation that we're at now, where I don't know exactly how much cap space we have, but we only have probably like 20-something million in cap space. If we traded for Horn, we would definitely have to give up a top name player because we would have to get more cap space. So that's why Azeez would probably go in that trade if that was going to happen. And I think if that was going to happen, that would happen later in the season. So, yeah, I definitely agree. Signing Keenan Isaac would definitely be easier, but I do agree with one thing. I do think one thing should start to change with the Giants, and a lot of Giants fans have talked about this. The Giants keep signing all of these players that nobody knows. like even a couple of years ago when the Giants signed Isaiah Hodgins off of waivers, and this was in the middle of the season when they did it. It was like right before they played the Texans. The Texans game in 2022, week 7, I believe, was not week 7. The 7th win of the season in 2022 was his first ever game. And he did end up playing great. But besides from him, there's not a ton of no-name players that the Giants have signed who have really been like top-tier players.
Jason Pinnock.
Jason Pinnock, yeah, that was a good signing. But just in general, it's just been hard to find like great name players that Joe Schoen likes, especially in free agency. Every once in a while, he'll make a big splash like we did with Brian Burns, but I don't know. But I think Keenan Isaac overall, I think he'll end up being a great player for this team, especially being with that Bucks defense for a bit. I think it'll definitely help.
Yeah, I think this could help a lot.
Yeah.
Do you guys have anything else to say?
I talked about this on the last time I was on here, but so the Giants, I think, need to make a couple of upgrades to the roster. I think this is one of them needs to make a corner. And also, honestly, like I know I said this before, but honestly, I would trade for Najee Harris if that's a possibility. I don't think we'd have to give up a whole lot for him. And I think he could really help the offense out a lot, and he could help us be a playoff team. What do you guys think?
Yeah, that would be a good trade. But my question is, who do you guys think we would give up for Najee Harris? Or what we would give up?
Like a 3rd-round pick, probably. I don't think we'd probably not have to give up too much.
I mean, you know Joe Schoen in trades, so
yeah, he's the ultimate scammer when it comes to trades.
But if the Steelers really, really wanted someone, I think Aziz would go back into this conversation. Maybe a possible running back switch up. I think maybe if we had to do something, maybe Devin Singletary and a 3rd-round pick. If we had to do something better, Devin Singletary and next year's 2nd-round pick, because I wouldn't want to give up this year's second-round pick, knowing that we have the chance of being pretty bad this year, even though I do think that we will do well. But what do you guys think about that?
I agree. I wouldn't trade a super high draft pick. Like, definitely don't trade the 1st-round pick this year, and don't trade a 2nd, because we might need those. Like, if we have to draft a quarterback this year, we're gonna have to keep those at all costs.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, I have to go now. Thank you for having me on. I will see you guys later. Let's go Giants, guys.
See ya.
Sure.
All right. Well, we'll go on to the next question then, which is, do you agree with the New York Giants? Do you agree with the 2024 Giants captains?
Me, yes, I do. But I mean, Daniel Jones as a captain, like I could see that starting QB, but like he's proved a lot, but he hasn't like proved enough to like be named captain constantly. That's what I think.
I think in general he's had enough opportunities to like show that he could be a captain. last year, I don't believe he was a captain, but they need someone on offense and defense, in my opinion, to be a captain. The one person that I didn't really understand that is a captain is Casey Kreider.
Yeah, I didn't.
Like the long snapper, I don't know if he's just retiring this year or if he's like really loyal to the Giants, but it just didn't make any sense to me why he.
If you want somebody on special teams to be a captain, like you have Graham Gano, he might honestly. I think he could probably be a future Hall of Famer. Honestly,
Can you hear me?
Yes, you can. I think he's going to be a future Hall of Famer. But you could also have the Scottish Hammer at captain. Very good punter.
I don't know if you want to put anyone on the special teams at a captain, but I do think Okereke deserved it. Dimes, I don't know if he definitely deserved it, but Dexter Lawrence definitely deserved that for sure. He's probably the best leader and defensive player on this team. So, yeah. What do you guys think?
I agree. Dexter Lawrence, I mean, he's a great guy, great player. I mean, I could tell what the locker room's like when we have all these players, these hype coaches, these hype players. So, like, when we get a win, I mean, that's what's bringing us up. I agree with you.
And it's kind of like I was saying before, like, I'm going to make a question about this in a sec. But a ton of people that the Giants have signed, whether they've cut them or not cut them, Brian Daboll, I think, has had a factor in who the Giants have signed overall. So, I don't know if it was technically a good thing, but.
Oh, yeah.
Hold on.
I'm sorry that I keep leaving and joining it back because I can't hear nobody. That's why. So, sorry.
We can hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I can't hear you. Like I can't hear all of y'all. Now I can hear all of y'all because I'm moving it right.
But here's the next question, which is, do you think Brian Daboll wanted some of the players that they signed for the locker room? And what I mean by that is, do you think he wanted that so in case he ended up losing the locker room, the players that they would sign would help him so that he would gain the locker room back? Because if you have noticed, remember how he was the offensive coordinator for Buffalo before he was the before he was the head coach for the Giants? A ton of the players that the Giants have signed, whether they cut them or traded for them, or they're on the team now. Isaiah Hodgins is one of them. He used to play in Buffalo. So I don't know if it has anything to do with Daboll, and I don't think he's going to lose his job either way, but I hope it doesn't affect the way that the locker room works. because Dable really has full control of that locker room, and if they have a bad year this year, I don't know what could happen.
Yeah.
But we'll see. What do you got, Matt?
I don't really have nothing to say about this because, like, I don't even know how to say it. It's just like Brian Daboll, like, they keep trying to give him players from Buffalo, but like
Whoa.
they have to like get him like these players that will like stand up and show out. Like Isaiah Hodgins did that, but we cut him. I don't know why we did that. But yeah, bringing these players that he's played with in his career. So
Yeah, I agree. I think it's just like a fact that, like, something that they did talk about in the like, that was all over social media, was the Giants got 0 passing touchdowns. And I talked about this on my podcast a couple days ago when you guys weren't on it, but it was a pretty crazy stat in my opinion. And I know it is just preseason, but I mean, whoops. But I don't know what it really says, because if you look at how many touchdowns they scored last year, it was 30, or it was 15. The year before, it was 17, and that was the year that the Giants made the playoffs and won a playoff game. So I guess we'll see. I know he really just wants, or I don't know if he even wants players, just to get some players for that locker room and for the culture. This is just an idea that I had thought of, but hopefully something will come up.
yeah.
Any other questions you guys had?
Not really.
Well, one last question then, and that is this. Do you agree with the 53-man roster overall?
No.
No. Why is that exactly?
Because the cutting.
I mean, you have to cut some players.
Yeah,
It's just not good. I just don't agree. No.
I mean, at quarterback, it's Jones, Locke, and DeVito. I think we all can agree that that was the right decision. I thought Locke might have been cut, but overall, I do like that they're all three of those guys are there. Running backs, it's Tracy, Singletary, and Eric Gray. I talked about this earlier, that the running back room needs to be better, and that's why we talked about earlier that Harris could be a Giant. Tight ends, Theo Johnson, Daniel Bellinger, Chris Manhurst, and then wide receivers, Malik Neighbors, Darius Slayton, Jalen Hyatt, Robinson, Rice Ford Wheaton, and Gunnar Olszewski. I do think they should have kept Allen Robinson. If they were going to cut Isaiah Hodgins, I do think they should have kept Allen Robinson instead of Bryce Ford Wheaton, in my opinion. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I agree because like for most of Bryce's career, he's been injured. He played, I think, 3 games his whole career, so it's really been an injury. But I still see him as a great wide receiver, and hopefully he doesn't get injured this year, so we could see him reach his full potential. But yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, I definitely think that was definitely a surprise. Cutting both of them was a surprise. I know a ton of people that thought we were gonna keep at least one of the two. But yeah. And then lastly, offensive linemen, Andrew Thomas, John Runyon, John Michael Schmitz, Greg Van Rotten, Jermaine Illuminor, Evan Neal, Josh Azudu, Aaron Stinney, Austin Schlottman, and Jake Kubas. Those are the offensive linemen for the Giants this year. Overall, I think that's a decent offensive line. We saw what happened in the preseason game. Again, preseason game, but 8 sacks allowed. You just can't do that. But overall, I think the offense for the Giants this year is pretty good. Definitely some stuff they could have done better with that 53-man roster, but that's not up to us. So, yeah. But yeah, and then we covered some of the defense. If you guys want to go over defense quickly, we went over cornerbacks earlier. So, defensive ends, Brian Burns, Kayvon Thibodeau, Azeez Ojulari, Boogie Basham, and Brennan Whitley. In my opinion, I think that's a top 5 defensive end room in the entire league. If it's not top 5, then it's definitely top 10. Brian Burns and Kayvon Thibodeau. So, and Azeez Ojulari too, right now. Definitely something to be excited about for the Giants defense. And that's what the Giants have really been known for, which is defense. So, you guys have anything to say about that?
I do have one question though.
What?
What do you guys think about the signing of Brian Burns?
I think he'll be a great addition. I think that makes the Giants a top 5 offense, or I think the Giants defense is like a top 5 defense in the league because of that trade now.
I mean, I think our defense last year also was top 5. I mean, we always had a good defense. I'm not going to say always, but most of the time we had a good defense. But I don't know. It's like our franchise. It's like sometimes we do good, and then it's back to 4 and 13 and all this bad records. So.
Yeah. Defensive tackles. I guess I'll go on to that. Dexter Lawrence, DJ Davidson, Joaquin Nunez Roches, Jordan Riley, and Elijah Chapman. Elijah Chapman, man, that guy, he's a dog.
He's pretty
I
good.
know.
Yeah.
That Texas game chased down that running back. It's a D lineman too. I don't know how he did that.
This man is like, this man is good.
Yeah. I think besides from Elijah Chapman and Dexter Lawrence, they definitely could get some. There definitely could be some better stuff, but overall, that's definitely great. And then linebackers, Bobby Okereke, Isaiah Simmons, Micah McFadden, Carter Coughlin, Deontay Johnson, and Darius Musawa. I think that's pretty solid. That might be one of the best depth charts on this defense, honestly. Because if one of those players goes down, like if Bobby Okereke goes down, Isaiah Simmons will be there. Although they might need two linebackers on the field at that time. But overall, I think that's a pretty solid depth chart either way. And then safeties, Tyler Nubin, Jason Pinnock, and Dane Belton. What do you guys think?
We have a good safety depth. I mean, we drafted the best safety in the draft, so I mean, Tyler Nubin, he has a lot to prove, and I think he'll prove it. Dane Belton, he's good. He had that good game against the Rams last year. So yeah.
Yeah. And then lastly, special teams, Graham Gano. You said it earlier, he could be a future Hall of Famer. Jamie Gillen and Casey Kreider. And Kreider is one of our captains. So that's the entire 53-man roster. As of right now. And overall, I would say it's probably a B plus. Offense could definitely use some work. Same thing with defense. But overall, I like what Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll are doing. Do you guys have anything?
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, our defense is getting better every year. I mean, we're signing these big weapons. You and Matt said it earlier. Like Joe Shane's scam artist when it comes to trades. So I think we'll have a good year defensively, but the offense, we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Offense, everyone is concerned about, but I think we'll be able to figure something out.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty much going to do it for today's video. We'll be back every Sunday. Today was I guess you could say special episode because of all the stuff that happened. But do you guys have any last words to say?
Yeah. Let's hope the Giants have a great year, Giants Nation, and everyone have a great day or a great night now.
Yeah. All right. See you guys in the next one. Have a great night, and we'll be back on Sunday. Let's go, Giants.